Welcome back, everybody. Episode 3 count. My pick starting 11.
Getting your podcast mixed up, brother. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, man.
The three of us are back. Jaquan's back from his California trip, sabbatical.
I was going to say impregnation vacation.
No impregnation was happening. Not this time. Not this time. Just you wait. Just you wait.
So what we're going to do now is we've heard a couple comments about the shows being long, so we're going to try and keep them short and stick to the subjects a lot more. We're going to try our best. We're working on it. So this is about the NXT Takeover event, Toronto. We're going to open the card, what we expect to see, how things will fare out. So we're going to start off with Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. What do you guys think on that one?
That's the definite match, and it's just Candice and Io, because I thought it was a fatal four-way that, or at least that's what it looked like. Yeah, I think you sent me.
It's just those two.
Yeah,
it's just those two. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, it's got to be Io. It's got to be Io, just because of the fact that she's the one that just turned heel, and then you got to have some type of way to give some type of sympathy to the babyface. And so I could see Io like really, really going all out, buck wild crazy, trying to kill Candice in this match.
I also believe it's going to be Io, and I think it's going to be some kind of dirty finish or a brawl after the match, something that's going to give Io heat going forward.
I'm seeing this as a brawl, and I think Io's going to win it, and I think she's just going to beat the snot out of her. At a certain point, you're going to have where Candice going to have her offense. Io's going to fire back. But at a certain point, it's going to be like it's going to break. It's going to just demolish her at the end, finish it off. Because like Benny was saying, maybe he's to get some sympathy. So I guess that's the way you can only work it at that point. So we're all in agreement. Io Shirai for the win. Yep. The next one we have are the title matches, which is going to be, we're going to continue with the women, and we'll do Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim for the women's title. I know that they've been doing this background story about Mia Yim attacking the other two women and taking them out just to kind of make it a one-on-one to avoid the outside interference. So it's going to be interesting how that's going to play out completely.
Yeah. See, all right. I have I have a bit of a track record recently of thinking that the WWE is going to do one thing, and that one thing being it's time for Shayna Baszler to go up, just because of the fact that she has run this division for the longest. The only blemish on her record is pretty much you can call it a roll-up loss to Kairi Sane. When Kairi, was already in the Kirifuna clutch and, kind of sort of, rolled back and got, the pinfall and ended up winning the championship, but she lost it right back. I am not allowing that to bite me again. All right? From this moment forward, I don't care who Shayna Baszler is facing. She could be facing every woman on the roster in the exact same match, like 50-on-1, and I am going for Shayna Baszler.
All I'm gonna say is I agree, Shayna Baszler, because as much as Mia Yim should be the one to take the title off of her, they don't have any plans with Mia Yim going forward or Shayna Baszler going forward, as far as I know. So, yeah, Shayna.
This is the problem that's coming into place because of the fact that Triple H is trying to protect Shayna. And I don't blame him. I really don't, because if she goes up, there are a lot of possibilities for her. Just don't trust creator to do her right, and will destroy her character completely, 100%. So I will say that Shayna's going to win to retain, and I don't know who's going to be out there to actually beat her right now. I don't know if there's anybody on the card right now that can beat her.
Hey, at this point, she may end up going up to the main roster as champion and just relinquish the title.
That's how I think it's going to play out.
The only way I could probably see that is at Royal Rumble and probably have her win it, and then not relinquish it. So depending on who she fights, she may win at the Rumble or at Mania, and then have to force to be relinquishing it because she already won the main card title. There's no need to have the NXT title.
I could see Triple H stripping her of it and just making a big deal about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
or something like them going forward with something like, oh well, listen, you're gonna have to relinquish the championship, and then Shayna Baszler being like, wait, what? No, I'm not doing that.
Well, to go with that, I could probably see her doing something crazy, like something really crazy, where she's stripped, and then she's like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna be a free agent now, and then Raw and SmackDown are gonna fight for her services.
Mm-hmm.
Fight for her services.
Yeah.
So we all in agreement, Shayna.
Mm-hmm.
So now here's where it gets interesting. A triple threat match for the North American Championship between Velveteen Dream, Pete Dunne, and Roderick Strong. It's going to be interesting because all of Undisputed Era is on the card, and they're all contending for titles.
Again.
This close, that close to come into what I was saying with interpretation of them maintaining all the titles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, that close. Y'all were calling me crazy. But we're that close. I think, see, here's the thing. I don't think Velveteen Dream is ready to give up the title.
I don't want him to.
Yeah,
it's too good.
Yeah, but putting in Pete Dunne in there kind of throws a wrench in the, okay, take the title away from him, give it to Roderick Strong, and Velveteen can go up and fight for the main title. So now I'm wondering if it's going to happen and Roderick Strong is there just to take the pin.
Well, you did bring up an interesting fact, and I think that this is where creative is going to change it, is that Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish and what's his face? Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, they're hurt. So unless you have somebody to protect them in the match, that match may not even happen. So the whole plan may not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that may be why Pete Dunne is there. And I personally think Pete Dunne, I still think Roderick Strong will win. I still have Roderick Strong winning. But I think that can be a way to cause friction within the ranks again. So there's still the whole, power struggle there. But I think Pete Dunne is there to take the pin.
You think so?
I really do, because at this point, with Pete Dunne being North American champion for so long, relegating him to a mid-card title when essentially he was the top guy on a different brand doesn't make sense to me, because it's a lateral shift. It's not a horizontal call up. It's a lateral shift. So essentially, he's the main card guy. So why should he be treated like a mid card guy?
So you have Roderick Strong winning?
Yes.
With Pete taking so reverse of what I was saying.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I am so torn on this one. Like I said, just because of the fact that I make no secret of the fact that Pete Dunne, as far as NXT goes, is my favorite wrestler. And I see this clash of styles that I'm really looking forward to this match, but at the same time, I'm really not looking forward to this match, just because of the fact that, like, I want Pete Dunne to actually succeed and move forward within NXT, and then hopefully onto the main roster and actually become something great. But at the same time, I don't want to see Velveteen Dream lose his belt. He is far too entertaining with this belt.
I mean, I feel like too, it's like when he lost to I forgot who he lost to before, but the loss he took before he won the title, when everybody's like, okay, what do you? Oh, when he lost to Tommaso Ciampa for the world title, everybody's like, okay, where does Velveteen go next? And Velveteen's like, You'll see. And he's that character where even if he loses, he wins.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it could be a great match because Velveteen sells so well that it could be a situation where Pete Dunne hits the bitter end, and you really think Pete Dunne's gonna win, and then he just hits Roger Strong hits him with a backbreaker, throws him out throws him out the ring, and then pins Dream or hits Dunne with the backbreaker, and that's it. And it's like it's not that Dunne lost. It's just that because of the triple threat situation,
Mm-hmm.
Pete Dunne got caught, with his head on the swivel.
Yeah, but not even that. Too, the other thing you have to remember is when Velveteen Dream has a match like on NXT Takeover events, like he throws like these moves that you're not aware of that not that he can't do, but like old school moves, like Macho Man elbow from the top, like all these moves. So like his matches are not, you can't call them like move for move, like he's gonna do this, like you don't know he's gonna do a stunner, he's gonna do whatever. Like, you don't know what he's going to do. And this is why I like it, because it's always intriguing to watch that plus Dunn and Roderick in there. This might be match of the night.
Possibly.
All right, well,
probably.
To balance everything out, I'm going to say Velveteen Dream retains. I like I said, with Pete Dunne coming over, I don't see him taking the fall. He's going to go out there, and I believe he's going to put on a show. I said, if Dream retains, like I'm thinking he's getting the pin on Roderick Strong.
Okay, so we're each taking everybody differently. Interesting. So just for the people out there watching, we started a standings since Mania on the pay-per-views for WWE, NXT, and what we could of AEW. So we're going off of that. I'll have the standings up shortly after Takeover and SummerSlam. So everybody can see, how things are looking. I'll put up for each event how we did, and then overall as well too. So this is an interesting one because we tend to either all agree, like the last in Extreme Rules, we pretty much I think we're all in agreement the entire card.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, which is funny. But this one
they shouldn't make it so easy to call.
I know, no, you're right. Like this match right here, you don't know what to call because we each pick a different person, for various reasons. Moving on, we have the tag team titles. Another event where Undisputed Era is in there. So it's Street Profits versus Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. And like I had mentioned off camera before we started, Kyle O'Reilly, I'm not sure if he still has the issue of the staph infection, but Bobby Fish had an issue with his jaw, which is why they've been off camera for a while. So we don't know how they're coming into this match. It's going to be interesting to see where this match comes off of. If it's going to be somewhere in the beginning or the middle or before the main event. So with this one, I'm going to stick with my plan. I'm going with Undisputed Era winning and unfortunately knocking the Street Profits back just a little bit. Even though I don't want to, because we all love Street Profits, but this is my focus. Undisputed Era. All four titles. All four men got titles. I'm going for that. Just saying. Gentlemen, carry on.
Oh, okay. I do also agree that it's going to be Undisputed Era, and I think because Paul Heyman has such an infatuation with the Street Profits, I think that they had planned to have them for a longer run, but it just makes sense now to give Undisputed Era that whole era of gold, if you will, and then move Street Profits up to Raw because Raw needs an injection of new blood that is actually used correctly and not do what they did to the Viking Raiders or AOP. So I think the Undisputed Era is definitely going to walk away.
This really depends, and I'm taking Street Profits, but this really depends on how it is that they're planning on working the Street Profits on the main roster. And I say that to mean, what are they actually planning to do? Because right now, all they've done is backstage segments. All right. If they're not trying to do a full call up right now, there is no reason to take the belts off of them from the main roster standpoint. All right. If they're just going to be there in the back, one thing that you notice unlike a lot of different NXT stars that show up on the main roster, they still have their belts. So they're back there kind of sort of as a promotional tool in my mind. And it's telling me like, all right, these guys are your NXT tag team champions. All right. They're a couple of characters. If you want to see more of them, then look down on NXT, or look at NXT, I should say. You take the belts off of them, and you still have them up on the main roster. To guys like us who know who they are, it's like, all right, we still know they're the Street Profits. We still know, Montez. We still know, for whatever reason, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. All I could think is, yes, she is. That's the only thing. The only thing, like, is that for your casuals, they'll just be like, all right, I've seen these guys before. They had the belts on before, but now they're no longer the champions. But now they're still just sitting in the back, just not doing anything. All right. So, like I said before we started up, I don't want this to turn into a premature call-up. I want the Street Profits to actually get some time to shine with those belts for a little while, because, like, the way they won those titles was like
it was choppy. It was choppy. It was choppy.
That match was epic, though.
The match was amazing, but the end was just choppy.
Yeah, it was choppy because there were some botches at the end of it. But that was so epic to me that I'm like, all right, I cannot sit here and look at this and see another Johnny Gargano situation where the match between Gargano and Cole was so amazing, and the end of it, and you got this absolute elation with Gargano finally getting his hands on the NXT title, and then losing it at the very next takeover. I don't want to see that again. So, like I said, my mind is on Street Profits. The injury angle also, not angle, but the injuries with the Undisputed Era is also holding, is making me hold off on them for a minute. So, like I said, it's just a matter of like, I can't see them taking the, I can see it, but I don't see them taking the belts off of them just yet.
I think it's very much contingent on how injured both guys are, because you don't have to do the whole golden era right now. You can do it after Survivor Series. And you still have Survivor Series, so it could still happen. So I don't think Undisputed Era is guaranteed to win. I think it's just likely because of how much they're talking about it.
Yeah. Then you can also hide them until they recuperate.
Yeah. Like, they win the titles, you can still hide them because now they don't have to, to consistently compete to be considered, contenders.
Yeah. And you could just have them talk and talk and talk while they heal up. So it's just, we'll see how it goes. But, like, again, it depends on what's going to happen, because Paul Heyman could want the Street Profits called up.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know. There's a lot in the background we're trying to figure out, so we have to wait.
Definitely Ricochet needs some backup. I'm just going to put it that way. Ricochet needs some backup.
He does.
They definitely do fit the bill. They fit the bill, and it puts them right square into the title picture on Raw. And it's like, if you're gonna beat the Good Brothers and you're gonna have that back and forth, and you're gonna need somebody that can go toe to toe with AJ Styles on the mic. Montez Ford can do that in spades. So can the other guy whose name I cannot remember right now. D'Angelo Hawkins. Yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on him, but again, Ricochet is good, but he's a little too superhero-y. Like, you need some guys with a little bit of grit that also can do the comedy, because let's face it, the OC is corny. The OC is a bunch of corny white dudes that just so happen can fight.
They're just
you need an offset of that, and Ricochet's a little too campy. The Street Profits provide the right amount of face work with the right amount of give you that kind of heel Uso grit. So again, if the call-up happens, it makes sense, and it makes sense to push them in that direction immediately.
Yeah. The problem I have with the OC is if we watch the show, they're, like, very plain vanilla. There's nothing really too much to them yet. Like,
because they can't be the Bullet Club. Because they can't be the Bullet Club.
You can do something like that, but there's like nothing there because they're trying to stay with the PG crap, so they can't. They're trying to figure out how far can they go with certain things, and I see them just being too plain vanilla. Like, okay, we're gonna be bad guys, but we're gonna hold back on like stuff we should be doing as bad guys.
Well, they can't be DX, and that's a problem.
What they're basically trying to do right now, or at least from what I see, is they're trying to find an identity as the OC.
Yes,
that doesn't hang too close to the Bullet Club.
Yeah,
they're trying to identify themselves as the WWE version of their faction.
Yeah. And it's not going to work because
everybody's going to see the club.
Yeah, like they're the Bullet Club. They're AJ Styles led Bullet Club, and it's like, okay, is Finn Balor going to join you guys? There's now rumors that Shinsuke could join the club. So, if you're going to go that route, then it doesn't make sense for you to call up the Street Profits because you're just going to bury them along with Ricochet.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But
I just think it's interesting what they do with them because they already re-signed and renewed.
Mm-hmm.
The Revival hasn't, so I think they're going to get buried sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see if the OC can find their identity soon because I don't think they're going to give them too much time, to be honest, to find identity. They're going to have fight Survivor Series.
Yeah, because you have too many young tag teams that they can build. Like, you can still build the Viking Raiders, and they've been slowly building them. AOP is going to come back.
No, they're both back. It's just dark matches right now.
That's what I'm saying. What I mean is they're eventually going to come back to TV.
Gotcha.
They're eventually, like, you're gonna, because, and it's like, then you still have the Ascension. Like, I can't even tell you who the other tag teams are outside of maybe 4 or 5 in the whole company. But you have tag teams just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
So eventually they can just pick someone to build at this point.
Yeah. Wow. Tyler Breeze. All right. I'll wait for this for the next show, but it's going to be a conversation for later. Watching NXT right now. It's just all right. So the main event: Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano.
Adam Cole. I just feel like, you know what? Because Triple H sees so much of himself in Adam Cole, as much as he likes Johnny's too much of a Ricky Superfly. Like, yes, he can get the big win every now and again, but he's better chasing a title than he is actually winning a title. Not to mention, I think Triple H has a better chance now of letting go of Johnny. With the uncertainty of Ciampa, it's easier to build the brand around a champion that you're certain about, because even if you don't move Johnny up right away and you wait for like that final match between Tommaso and Johnny, at least you have the match and you don't have to worry about the title being on the line. Because I think that's the only reason why they'd save Johnny, is to close the chapter on that story and then move him up to whatever. I think he's going to end up going to 205.
This is another one I'm weirded out on, just because of the fact that you have this wild card in Ciampa, because of the fact that it's, like I said, there's this idea that he's going to be coming back soon. So, do you bring him back as heel Ciampa, or do you bring him back as, DIY, like that's my boy Johnny Gargano, like he was when Gargano actually won the championship? I'm just like, I'm so torn on that, just because of the fact that I'm like, all right, this came out, I believe, through Meltzer.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was that it came out
that with a grain of salt, anyway.
That he's supposedly coming back soon, or that like WWE has his projected return time at the moment for mid-August. So I'm like, what do we do with him? Does he come back and does he help Gargano actually win the championship? Does he even the odds against Undisputed Era, who, this is a 2 out of 3 falls match. This is going to end up the exact same way that it ended up right before WrestleMania at TakeOver New York, where you got this pretty much this jump job going on in the middle of the freaking ring. I can see it happening right off the bat, especially if you end up with a situation where the other Undisputed Era members win their titles. I'm pretty sure they're going to go out there and they're going to do everything they possibly can to keep that belt on Cole. So do you bring Gargano? Not Gargano. Do you bring Ciampa in to help even the odds against them as this big return, a la Stone Cold back in the day when The Rock was getting destroyed by the entire corporation and he just showed up for 5 seconds and just destroyed everybody? What do we do with that? That being said, I'm taking Adam Cole because Johnny Gargano's not winning that title.
I mean, again, I agree with you in everything you said, and the only thing I can think of is you can bring Ciampa back as a heel, but it's a situation where they came up with an interview right after Johnny won, and he said, the only person I'd want with Goldie, if it's not me, would be Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person he's going to want to beat to get Goldie back would be Johnny. So, of course, he would help Johnny, and he wouldn't help Cole because he doesn't like Cole. And him and Johnny have history. Now, if you want to end it that way, and if you want to usher Tommaso Ciampa into more of a backstage role, then you have Johnny win. You have him fight Ciampa, and then you have Cole interfere and take Ciampa out for good. And it saves everyone. But then, how long do you want to go with this Johnny and Adam Cole thing before someone else enters the fray? Because you still have all this talent waiting in the wings.
That depends on Dream. That depends on
Matt Riddle.
Matt Riddle, exactly.
Did that match get announced?
Keith Lee.
Yep.
Did the Matt Riddle Killian Dane match get announced? I believe it did.
Looking at the card, that's all I see is 5 matches.
Well, there's the rumor of Matt Riddle Killian Dane. At which point, I'm still taking Matt Riddle. Even though I think Killian Dane probably should win because he's just coming back and he's a heel. But I think that they've had Matt Riddle lose enough that he's going to get some kind of funky submission finish against Killian Dane and still keep Killian Dane going strong. And then I think you can throw Killian Dane with Keith Lee. That works for me.
True. The other thing is, as far as Killian Dane goes, he could actually end up in the same position that Tyler Breeze ended up in.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Breeze came back. He came back to get, basically come back to, reinvent his character for the most part and actually get back on TV and actually get some time to actually wrestle. But he came back and his first order of business was to put over Velveteen Dream. So I could actually see that just because of the fact that he's coming back from the main roster, just like Breeze was. He's probably going to go into that role as well, and then get built back up. Because I don't want to see. I don't think they're going to stifle somebody else like Matt Riddle in order to take Killian Dane and actually push him. Like they, I don't know.
Well, also there's also the rumor of someone in WWE front office kind of fired a warning shot at Matt Riddle because Matt Riddle's been talking all this stuff about Goldberg. And he's like, if you want to get in trouble, this is how you get in trouble. So you need to watch yourself. So Matt Riddle could theoretically go into the doghouse and stifle his whole push.
He could.
So that's to be announced. But in terms of the card that's there, I think that last match concludes the card.
Yeah, I got Adam Cole winning, retaining, of course, because like I said, Undisputed Era. I don't think Tommaso Ciampa's going to interfere. I just think everybody else wins their titles, and they're going to try and make sure that Adam retains just so they can run buck wild with all 3 titles, all 4 of them. The reason I don't see Tommaso getting involved is because, I mean, if he does, then he stays as a face. Because the way they celebrated when Johnny won, it was kind of like squashed the entire beef. So it's like I know what they were trying to do. They were annoyed and they were sad because they couldn't end that storyline the way they wanted. But they said they kind of came to terms with it and ended it the way it did.
You see, the only reason why I have a question about that in my mind, because I was looking at it the same way. But do you remember back right before Survivor Series when Becky Lynch got got punched by Nia Jax, and she had to pick her replacement? At the time, Becky Lynch and Charlotte were legit beefing. Well, not legit beefing, but it kayfabe legit beefing.
Right.
It's just, so they had just gone through Evolution or whatever, where they go through the last woman standing match and all that other stuff. And the first thing she does is she goes out there, she picks Charlotte and just walks up to her and hugs her. Although the two of them are supposed to be beefing. So I'm looking at it like, all right, do we are we putting it out there just like that at the same way? Because that feud went straight back to where it was right after too. So like I said, I'm just like, I don't know. Was that something that was that their Madison Square Garden curtain call moment, the two of them,
Right.
where they just decided to break kayfabe for a minute, or was that actually Ciampa turning face again? And I don't know.
I thought that was like the pretty much the ending they would come to it because of the fact they didn't know about how long he was going to be out and what his career is going to look like afterwards. But I thought they said that was like their way of just ending it, their new ending to it because of the injury.
I would love to believe that, although at the same time, it still bums me out at the fact that you never got an actual conclusion to that feud.
Right. So who knows? So that's the NXT Takeover card in a nutshell, and what our thoughts are on the matches and how they're going to end up. So we will come up with another show on just shooting the wind about what's going on in the WWE, NXT, and the rest of the wrestling world. So catch that episode. It should be somewhere around the box, depending where they put it. I don't know. Till next time. See ya.